Okay, let's walk and talk. I'm wrapping up my workday and I thought we would talk melasma because it is about to be full-blown melasma season. What I mean is most people who have melasma generally notice an uptick in the areas of darkening and patchiness on the face, and that's typically kind of found midsection, upper forehead, around the cheeks, and then also on the upper lip. Melasma is a hormonal condition. It's not really understood why, but it's a hormonal condition that affects the skin, among other things. Also, people who have hypothyroidism are more likely to have melasma, or people who have melasma are more likely to have hypothyroidism, so it kind of goes hand in hand. So with melasma, because it's a hormonal component, like it can't just be controlled by skincare. And so there are lifestyle modifications, there are skincare things you can do, there are some preventative and protective things you can do to prevent it from getting worse, and then there's some repair and correction things you can do to treat it. All need to be done at the right time so that you don't worsen the melasma and so that you can actually see more long-term results and you don't have rebound effects. If you're not sure if you have melasma, here's something to know. It's areas of patchiness. And like I said, they're normally on those areas that I mentioned previously. And so if you're not sure, try this. If you notice your dark spots on your face, especially in those areas, start to get worse in the summer, it very likely could be melasma. It's not just freckles, it's like true patchiness. So that's a really good indicator of just hyperpigmentation versus melasma. So when I say melasma season, because melasma is triggered, the production of melanin is triggered by heat, it can be very, very beneficial to implement a couple different lifestyle factors as well as skincare products to protect and prevent the melasma from getting worse this summer. First, let's talk skincare and then we'll jump into lifestyle modifications. I think of the warmer months as a time to protect and prevent for melasma. I think of the cooler months as a time to repair and correct. You don't want to be doing things to treat the melasma as far as maybe even like a safe laser treatment or a chemical peel, microneedling, anything that's going to cause inflammation on the skin. Accompany that with some heat, you're going to have a melasma flare-up. That's why if you are melasma prone, keep all of those treatments contained into the cooler months. You're just going to do yourself a favor, make your life way easier. If you do those things and you're melasma prone and it's in summer, you're going to be like, what in the world? I just made my melasma 10 times worse. And then you're going to really have to repair and correct in the cooler months way more than you would have. So we're already past that. So let's stick to the warmer months now. Protect and prevent. And how do you do that? The key is you want to prevent the melasma from getting worse in the summer. It probably is to some extent because there's very little you can do, especially if you live in the South or if you travel anywhere warm. It's just very, very challenging to fully prevent it from having a flare up in the summer. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure your routine includes 4 key things plus a little booster treatment. So you need the core 4. You need healthy skin to function properly. That is your retinoid to boost your cellular turnover. And also retinoids can help with preventing hyperpigmentation, dark spots, etc. Things work together. There's no one hero product to fully correct dark spots. I will say, side note to that, hydroquinone is a really, really powerful treatment for dark spots and melasma. But if you just use it and you're not using other things to make your skin healthy and to make the skin function properly, when you stop using it, you will have a rebound effect. I have seen so many patients that have rebound effects from hydroquinone when not used properly, which is why it's a prescription medication. You can't get it over the counter. And if you are getting it, I know there's a bunch of different like online stores that sell it now. Just make sure you're following how it's supposed to be used. Otherwise, you just don't want to have these things where it's helpful, but then you have rebound effects and then you've set yourself up for a bigger challenge because you've made it worse. Hydroquinone is really impactful. Depending on the severity, it can be really helpful. The core 4 products that you want to be using for healthy skin, even if you decide to add in a hydroquinone, are your retinoid, your sunscreen. This is key. And I always recommend people who have melasma use a tinted SPF. Iron oxides are in tinted SPFs and they are going to provide protection against visible light. Visible light is something that I think it was Sir Isaac Newton that discovered it back in, the day. And he figured out that visible light is also a cause of dark spots. And so traditional sunscreens, if they're just sheer, they're not protecting against visible light. So you need the combo of a broad spectrum as well as iron oxides to protect against visible light. Iron oxides give it the tint. So if you're looking at a tinted sunscreen, most likely it's from iron oxides. Sheer sunscreen, they do not have iron oxides. Sheer sunscreen obviously has a place. Not everyone likes a tint. You also get an added bonus if you wear makeup because that a lot of times has iron oxides in it. But just know that, especially if you're trying to keep dark spots and melasma at bay, and tinted SPF is your friend. So you've got your retinoid, you've got your SPF, you've got your vitamin C. This is your antioxidant. I think of this as like a protector, a fighter of free radical damage, plus a booster for prevention from a skincare perspective. The thing I was saying about exfoliants, you want to be careful. You don't want to be doing a lot of skincare products or treatments that are causing inflammation. Inflammation causes dark spots to pop up. So just be thinking about making sure that your skincare routine isn't consistently causing inflammation and irritation. And so you'll know that by like how your skin feels. Is it feeling really dry? dry? Is it feeling irritated? Is it feeling sensitive? If it is, then you need to cut back on some of the products that you're using. And that's typically going to be your retinoids and your acids. And so if you're not able to tolerate those products every day, they may be too strong for your skin type. So in that case, you could either think about switching up to a more gentle product for your skin, or you can cut back frequency of use. If you've already purchased the products, what I would do is, and you're having sensitive skin and reactive skin, cut back frequency of use to 3 times a week for each of an acid and a retinoid. And I would just make sure, again, if your skin is acting sensitive, use your retinoid on a Monday and acid on a Tuesday. Retinoid on a Wednesday, acid on a Thursday. And by acids, I mean like exfoliating acids or like a salicylic, glycolic, those kind of things. And so you don't want to be causing chronic inflammation to the skin and any skin type, but especially melasma, because you're going to consistently tell your skin, hey, I need to produce more melanin. Because whether you're melasma prone or not, melanin and darkening of the skin, aka tanning, is a sign of DNA damage, and it's your skin's like cry for help. It's saying, hey, we've got some damage, we need to help out. And so that's what it's saying to your skin too when you're causing chronic inflammation and stress to the skin with skincare products if you're using too aggressive of products for your skin type. That's kind of like your skincare little arsenal. It doesn't have to be complicated. And as far as lifestyle modifications, this is where it gets really important. It is hot in the summer, and I live in the South. I don't know where you live, but if you travel at all, these are the times when you can have 1 week at the beach, and you could live in Alaska, and you could have 1 week at the beach and just crush your skin. Every day counts. It's just not to say don't live your life. You're not going to die from melasma. So if it doesn't bother you, whatever, do whatever you want. This is just if you have and want to reduce the dark spots. And a lot of people, and I remember when I was practicing in office, areas that people are bothered by the most are the upper lip, because you start to look like you have a mustache. And I don't know about you, but I shave my face. I'm not trying to look like I have a mustache. So I totally get it. Keeping your skin cool. This means if you're at the beach, if you're on a lake day, if you're at the pool, keep something cool by you that you can keep putting on your face. Whether that's an ice roller, whether that's like a cold drink that you're like putting on your face periodically, you just don't want your face to be getting too hot. And so if you can do things to prevent your skin from getting too hot, especially these areas that you are getting the melasma, a frozen water bottle, keep that with you so that way you can avoid the skin from getting too hot. Another thing you can do is just being thoughtful when you're at home. Steam really hot showers, steam rooms, saunas, opening your oven, and like that steam getting in your face. Those are things that your skin doesn't like if you have melasma. So if you can avoid those, hot yoga. Again, you're not going to die from melasma. So if you love hot yoga, if that's your release, do hot yoga. This is not to say don't do it, but if you're doing all that, it's going to be really, really hard to keep your melasma at bay. Birth control. This is another area that makes it challenging to treat melasma. If you're on a birth control that has estrogen and progesterone, that is going to make it challenging to treat your melasma because it's adjusting your hormone levels. Same thing if you're pregnant, same thing if you're eating a bunch of soy. All these things can like kind of throw your hormones off a little bit. So that's why if you are melasma prone, thinking about maybe a birth control that doesn't have estrogen or progesterone in it, and minimizing your soy intake. And then because people who have melasma are more likely to have hyperthyroidism, I would just get your thyroid checked. And then obviously, little things like just wearing a hat when you're outside. It sounds so basic, but like any added sun protection you can give your skin to avoid that direct sunlight is great. The heat is really the biggest challenge I see in the summer, that like a lot of times people are wearing hats and they're like, but I'm still getting this melasma. So they're not keeping their skin cool. So if you can have the sun protection, wear your sunscreen, do your skincare routine, and keep your skin cool, that's gonna make a really, really big difference in the amount of melasma that you are seeing on your skin. The repair and correction that I recommend for melasma in the cooler months, love a chemical peel. And again, because you're causing inflammation to the skin, I like to do any of my skin treatments kind of like in January, February, because you just know it's a safe zone. It's cool. It's like you're kind of indoors mostly anyways. So love a chemical peel. I like 2 different lasers for melasma, Clear and Brilliant and Ultra. Both are really safe for melasma. The key is like making sure your provider is aware that you have melasma, so that way they're adjusting the settings. Anytime I treat people with melasma and then also doing a combined skincare treatment on them, I pre-treat the skin. And going back to like the skincare routine that I recommended earlier, I pre-treat the skin for several reasons. One, because you're causing an inflammatory response to the skin when you're doing these procedures, lasers or peels, you want to make sure the skin is going to respond in the way that you want. So I'll pre-treat it for about 6 weeks because that's the typical cell cycle. If the melasma is really severe, I'll treat it for 3 months before. That way you don't have that rebound hyperpigmentation. And when I pre-treat the skin, again, that same routine that I recommended before, that way I know that the skin is healthy. I've worked with plastic surgeons for years, and when someone came in to get a body procedure, whether they were getting a tummy tuck post kids or liposuction, we would always recommend, hey, you need to start on a workout program at least 6 weeks before so that your body is healthy, and also not just workout program, making sure that you're eating the right foods. So these are the things that you can do to set yourself for success post-surgery. Same thing applies for melasma. You want to set your skin up to respond in the best way. So always pre-treating the skin. And then if you're really melasma prone, or if you've got like really severe melasma that you have a lot of trouble trouble controlling, I would recommend looking into a hydroquinone because you can cycle on and off of that, and it can be a really, really effective way to keep all of that at bay. So those are the treatments that I like to repair. But like, again, you can't just like blast your skin and not take care of it in the summer and then just focus on the repair and have a good result, because what you're going to notice is it's progressive. And so it's kind of like a cycle that you get into. Your warmer months are protect and prevent. Your cooler months are repair and correct. And you kind of just get into this cycle of how you treat your skin. Same thing applies if you have rosacea. You're going to get more rosacea flare-ups in the summer. It's just the name of the game if you're going to like try to live a fun life and try to be outside and like try to do fun things. For me, I have rosacea. I follow the same philosophy: protect and prevent in the summer, repair and correct in the winter. And because you're going to get those new blood vessels that pop up, it's nothing to be upset about. We're living our lives. And so it's not just like, oh, I treat this 1 year and it doesn't come back. No, it's a cycle. So it's like working out. You got to kind of like adjust your workouts. You adjust your skincare routines for the season that you're in and also the skin concerns and skin type that you have. Other melasma questions? Let me know.